Welcome back to Echo Ridge and another episode. Actually, no, it's not one of those episodes. Today, we're just going to go over a couple of little things happening in the colony and also give you a sort of channel update. First, I wanted to talk about some of the comments we received about our system over here on Draponi. A lot of people had the phenomenal idea that instead of shipping the resin, we should boil the resin and then ship the iso resin since it's so much smaller. And that is an excellent point and a system that I would recommend you doing. If you're going to do something like that though, you're going to need a little bit more on the power grid. That's where it'd be a great idea to tap into the geothermal power. Even taking a look at it afterwards, there's a great place to put a door and heat sink system. You strap a few steam turbines to it and whammo blammo, you have all the power you need to add a couple more rad bolt generators. Not to mention all the conveyor loaders, the auto sweepers, and the valves that you'd want to put into place, so that way every time the tree ate, you could circle the resin either through your cooling solution steam or through your geothermal plant. I recommend your geothermal plant because you can add more heat at will, whereas adding more heat here is a little bit more difficult because when you add more heat here, you have to inject it into the coolant. Not too big of a deal, but something to keep in mind if you try to do that in the future. And your system could look something like this. You can see that we have 4 steam turbines all sitting in a power plant, so they're producing a lot of wattage. Each steam turbine is sitting at over 1200 watts. With that being said though, these are not necessarily quick and simple solutions, whereas I think this system is. So it all depends on what you're kind of in the mood for and what your requirements are. So far we have over 150 kilos worth of iso resin, and I don't have a lot of plans for it. So I'm just going to dump off any extra calories we get in the future to the tree and wait for the iso resin. It's not a big deal for me to wait. Another great recommendation I received in the comments was adding the liquid valve to limit the flow of the resin in this pipe down to 1 kilo per second. By doing that, by the time the resin made it here and hit this hot block, the conversion ratio was a lot better than that bubbly mess that we saw before, where sometimes we would just lose resin. Now, every time a little blob of resin hits, we get a little bit of iso resin in return. Currently, this colony is 1924 cycles old. Not counting the Great Escape and Cosmic Archaeology, which are an inevitability and won't take me too terribly long to knock out, we're only sitting at 5 other achievements. One of them is just landing duplicates or rovers on the other planetoids, which is going to happen regardless as well. That only leaves us with 4 achievements. Easy Living and Job Suitability are a little complicated because you have to play games with where the duplicates are living and what they're doing. So these are going to probably be the last 2 that we do. The first 2 is GMO OK and Mind the Gap. And I've already explained to you that these are going to take a while. First, for GMO A-OK, I have to go get all these plants and then wait for them to mutate. I've got 3 or 4 in progress right now, such as the gas grass, the pitcher pepper plant, and the sleet wheat, but I still have to go to some other planetoids and grab the other plants. Mind the Gap's just going to take a while because you got to keep sending rockets back and forth, which wouldn't be too big of a deal if I'd stop freezing all my hydrogen into little chunks. So I've once again lowered the temperature on the thermo aqua tuner, so hopefully all that will flash and fill our tank back up. So while I wait for our fuel tanks to get filled, I've been doing other little odds and ends, such as fixing our chlorine delivery system. Now we once again have a liquid valve controlling the flow of how much chlorine is let out. Specifically, I've limited it to 4 grams per second. And the reason why I did that is because I figured out the math on how much liquid chlorine the gas grass actually needs and have put it right up to the amount. And that way the chlorine doesn't have an opportunity to pool and then flash. Because remember, your liquid packets will not flash if they're under 1 kilo. So I'm just making sure they're always under 1 kilo. But to continue on to that point, I've been playing this colony for 144 hours, which basically tells you if I was playing this as a 40-hour work week, I'd almost have a month of my life in this one colony, which we knew what we were signing up for when we decided to do a max difficulty achievement run, so no big deal there. Just today I've played the game for about 5 hours and could have produced some sort of video, but it would have been a lot of ticky-tacky nonsense and not really anything of great substance. like knocking out a new achievement or finishing a system. But the videos are starting to take a lot longer to record, and like I've said in previous videos, I'm looking for a second game to introduce to the channel on a more permanent basis. So I'm going to take that opportunity and bring this series down to once a week. Now, you're going to see this video on Sunday, so I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to have the videos come out on Wednesday or Sunday the following week, but we'll have to play that one by ear. And I know some of you are going to be disappointed at that news, but remember, I also stream live on Twitch, and I upload all the VODs to YouTube as well. So if you're jonesing for more chaos content, you can find me over there pretty often. Sorry about this shorter video. I know it's not what you were expecting, but I do hope you understand. So until next time, much love, happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.